Hello and welcome to the Open Mic Podcast, the official podcast of the Open Mic app, coming soon to an app store near you. But in the meantime, let's hear from the artist. Today, I spoke with Emanuel Wynter, a violinist and solo artist from North Carolina. I'm a big fan of his feel-good song, Iced Coffee. Take a listen.
So please hurry. It's been a long day, yeah. Trouble after trouble with no break. I think I spent all of my patience. So come tonight, let's make some change. 'Cause you're so much more than a dime, girl. Trying to take my blessings to the bank. So tell me, can you come down over to my place? Why don't you come around? Swing by at 8:30. Bring iced coffee with caramel. So please hurry.
Hey everybody, I'm here today with Emanuel Wynter. Emanuel, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks a lot for joining us today. So I just want to get right into it with you and ask you about your passion for violin and how long you've been playing this instrument.
Oh, I've been playing for 16 years. I started back in the first grade. And I'm 22 now, so I've been playing for a good while.
And what got you started with that? Was that just a school instrument?
Yeah, so the school I was going to at the time, it was a private school in New York, and they had violin lessons. They had a violin class there. And I thought it was cool, and all my friends were in there, so I had my mom enroll me, and it was something that I was good at early on, and I kept with it.
That's cool, man. I really wish that a lot more people would continue with the instruments that they begin playing with in middle school. Because if you think about it, I mean, we're all basically taught an instrument in school, but not a lot of people continue on with that. Especially in high school, you know, our interests go elsewhere, and normally instruments aren't continued, especially in an instrument like the classical violin. What is there a certain type of violin that you play?
Well, the maker of my main violin, the maker is called Hiroshi Kono, and they make a lot of instruments. But yeah, I mean, it's just a regular acoustic violin that I use. I also have an electric that I'll play at gigs. But yeah, it's my acoustic violin.
That's cool. I like the electric. We actually post a lot of electric violins on our Open Mic Instagram page. Do you post any of the electric violin on your Instagram?
I haven't done so in a while. I'm actually gonna post a video real soon because there's a song clip that I want to post up. It's a Gary Clark Jr. song that I wanted to play over. And you know, if you're familiar with Gary Clark Jr., you know he's really into using fuzz and all that stuff. So I was actually gonna record a video with my electric violin and put fuzz on that. So it's coming up.
That would be cool. You tag the Open Mic app in it, and we're absolutely posting that one. So I'm glad you brought up playing with a band. I know that you play solo at some gigs, and you also play with a band. Can you tell me a little bit about the difference for you of playing solo and then playing with other instruments that accompany you in your bands that you play with?
Yes. So when I first decided that I wanted to start playing out, I played solo because I didn't know anyone to play with me. So what I did, I got together tracks, backing tracks, and then I played over those backing tracks. And then with doing that, I eventually met some other musicians and got to play in a band. And honestly, the biggest difference between playing solo and playing with a band is just the group interaction that's there with the band is not present during the tracks. So what I'm doing on solo gigs is dictated by the track, because I can't look over to the drummer and be like, yeah, I like that, let's do another round of that or whatever. And those are things that I do with a band. So yeah, with solo, what I do is dictated by the tracks, which is why I like playing in bands much more often. Much more, I would say, because it's more fun, and there's a group dynamic, there's a communication. We're all communicating with each other. We're all having a good time. We all play off of each other.
Absolutely. And I saw that you play with two bands, actually, Sticks and Stones and Day Trip. Is there a band that you play with more frequently?
So I play with both of them several times a month. So those are like my two main bands that I play as a part of.
Right.
They're a little different from each other, but they're both considered Americana.
Very
cool. One of them is a more like acoustic. Sticks and Stones is more like acoustic. The guy's got a baritone guitar, but the way he plays it, it sounds like he's playing bass and guitar. It's really cool. And then his wife does vocals and a little bit of percussion. But
and how did you meet up with that band? Are they local to North Carolina?
Yes, so they're local to the Charlotte area. And the funny thing is, when I first started meeting musicians, this is early on when I first decided that I wanted to play out, I met the guy in Sticks and Stones, the guitarist in Sticks and Stones, and the drummer in 9 Day Trip. They were both in a band called All of a Kind. So I met those guys back then, and then All of a Kind played for a little while, and the drummer had a knee injury where he couldn't play anymore. But and not long after he couldn't play, I mean, they found a replacement drummer, but that band was disbanded. They stopped playing. And then the guy in Sticks and Stones, he started Sticks and Stones with his wife. And the drummer in All of a Kind joined 9 Day Trip when he could play again. So I'm actually playing with people that I've been playing with the whole time, which is pretty cool.
Oh, very cool. And what is the scene like, the music scene in North Carolina? I am very much East Coast. I'm used to the New York scene, and I dabble in Boston. But tell me a little bit about the styles that are really popular in North Carolina.
So it depends on what city you're in, kind of. So here in Charlotte, there's a lot of good original music that's coming out in Charlotte, and there are a lot of really cool artists that are helping to push the scene forward. And I feel like Charlotte could blossom really soon. The genre that's the most prevalent around here is folk, mostly. So like folk, country, Americana, that type of stuff. So that's really popular. But Durham, North Carolina is I hear a lot about jazz there, and I hear a lot about hip hop in Durham. I've yet to make my way out there, but that's what I've heard from a lot of guys who are out there often.
Now, I want to come back to talking about the bands that you play with a little bit. Do you guys release music under the band? I know you release your solo music, and I want to talk about that in a second. But do you guys release music as a collective, and is that available?
Yes. So both 9-Day Trip and Sticks and Stones have released their own projects. So 9-Day Trip, in 2017, we released an album called Into the Great Unknown, and it's available on all streaming platforms. And this past October, Sticks and Stones released an album called Wake Up, and that's also available on all streaming platforms.
Very nice. So the song I really want to talk about is Iced Coffee. That's my personal favorite by you. I'm starting to listen to it right now. The weather's warming up here, and it's a song that just makes you feel good. You know, it's really, the name is self-descriptive. It feels like just drinking an iced coffee on a warm summer day. So tell me a little bit about the process of making that song. And I noticed it's very high quality. And how long did it take you to mix and master and produce this song?
So from the time that Iced Coffee was written to the time that it was released was only 2 months or so. So that one was pretty quick. So I initially wanted to release another single from another one of the songs that I wrote. But when I wrote Iced Coffee, when I came up with it, I was like, nah, I gotta release this one.
Sure.
But yeah, the process, it really all started one day. I was driving in my car and listening to music, and I just had the line in my head: iced coffee with caramel, and it kind of
Were you drinking an iced coffee?
I actually wasn't, surprisingly. It was just something that was in my head, and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of good. Let me see what I can do with that. So.
Yeah, for sure. For everyone listening to this, go to Spotify, go check out Iced Coffee by Emanuel Wynter. You won't regret it, especially this time of season. It's a feel-good song. So do you have any projects in the work right now? Any singles you're working on? Any albums?
So I'm working on an album that I would like to release later this year.
I was hoping you were going to say album.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's coming together. It's gonna have 8 songs on it or so, maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
But it's the concept that I have for it is it's sort of an exploration of a 2-year span of my life, going back to from 2015 to 2017, highs, lows, heartbreak, love, tough spots. So that's sort of the concept that I have for it. So some of those songs were written back then, and then some of the other songs I'm still writing now, and I'm sort of having to tap back into emotions that I felt a little bit further in the past. So it's been fun exploring that and trying to put that together.
And what kind of instruments can we expect in this? Because what I really like about your singles is that it sounds like new music that would be part of popular culture, and then it incorporates the violin in a very cool and innovative way. Can we expect more violin and what other instruments?
So yeah, definitely expect violin. It's my first instrument, my first love, and I want to make sure that I